Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Part of me feels silly saying hello everybody because I know that nobody watches my videos. So if you somehow stumbled across my channel and you are watching this video, welcome to Lou's Life Pearls. I like to think that I have some insights that are worth sharing. I believe in intentional parenting, and I am also using this channel to use as a parenting tool as my kiddos grow. So I try to remind myself to kind of talk into the camera as if I'm talking to my kids as they are grown and watching this, but sometimes I don't. It's kind of hard to do. Right now, my son is sleeping literally right next to me. He's literally laying right here. I do my best to not keep things absolutely silent while he's sleeping. So we're gonna do this recording right next to him so that, I don't know, he just gets used to sleeping through noise. We'll see how long he actually stays asleep though. We'll see if this video works out. So today I wanna talk about as of right now, my worst fears. I use the word fear lightly though, because I personally feel that when you say that you have a fear, fear is kind of a word described when you're kind of out of touch with yourself and kind of like your higher self. You don't like want to live every day fearful. So it's not like I'm waking up every day like afraid, or like I'm waking up thinking all of these things are going to happen. They're just things that I guess you'd say if I was to look back on my life. They're like the top things I would dread, or the top things that might cause regret for me. Something about me when I was a little kiddo, I was afraid of everything. Like, I couldn't walk by a dog. Like, I would be shimmying up the closest adult's leg to like not have to walk by an animal. I remember asking my mom when I was like 5 years old, I was asking her about all the rules of the road. Like, how do drivers know the difference between like dotted lines and solid lines on the road? How do you know if you can only drive on one side? How do you know it's not a 2-lane highway? Why are there yellow and white lines? Like, I was totally putting her to the test. Like, woman, are you sure that you know the rules of driving? Because I'm completely helpless here and I'm trusting you to know how to drive. You better know these answers to these questions. I remember a couple of years later asking my mom about college and how I was going to pay for college, and for some reason a car was a concerning thing. Like, how am I going to learn how to drive? Who's going to teach me? How am I going to know? And I needed to know every detail about how that was going to happen. My mom was very and is still very mindful and intentional parent, and so she really helped me work on my fear and how to not be afraid and to just accept the things that we can't control, and don't worry about tomorrow. There's nothing that you can do about it, and just trust that other people know what they're doing. Sometimes you are 5, you don't have to know how to drive a car. We'll teach you and we'll figure it out when we get there. And there's some answers in life that we don't have, and that's okay. So my mom was very, very influential in how I was able to handle things that I was afraid of. But my first fear, I just think, is that, I won't do what I've set out to do. I'm the kind of person, if we are just having a nonchalant conversation, riding in the car, and we're just talking, you tell me, oh, it would be really cool to go do that one thing that sometime, I will take it seriously. I am not gonna be one to just agree and say, oh yeah, like that would be fun. If we're saying that we wanna do that, we're gonna actually make it happen. So in my mind, I'm already coming up with a process of like, when would that even be an option? How much would something like that cost? Like, where would we have to be in life for that vacation to be possible? And is that affordable for us? And if so, how soon could we do something like that? And I'm already thinking of setting up life in a way to be able to make that thing happen. It can be something small, it can be something big. It's one thing to just fantasize and have fun about, living a certain way, but if you are truly telling me that you want to do that one thing sometime, and I agree and think that's a great idea, no, we're making it happen. So, that's why I have a million New Year's resolutions. So, referring back to when I said I was 7 and I was worried about college, it was almost like I needed to know every single step of the way to make sure that college was even possible for me. A lot of these things that can't be done immediately, I still don't want to forget that I want to do them, so I make a note. I also kind of try and think of things, big picture, thinking of if I was on my deathbed, would I seriously look back at this and hate that I didn't do whatever? Not every single decision in life is going to be that memorable one that you're going to remember on your deathbed. But I mean, this is the life we're living right now. This is heaven on earth right now. Like, geez, I want to live it. So one of my biggest fears, I'd say, is just that I don't do what I've set out to do. I'm laying the groundwork right now to be able to do those things, but biggest fear is that they just don't happen. My next fear in life, I guess you would say, is just letting down my kids. Having my kids and them looking up to me and just trusting me as an adult, and I let them down. Simple as that. Mom's not the person I thought. I mean, your parents aren't who you think they are. When you're a kid, you do view your parents differently, and as you become an adult, your view of your parents shifts as you gain perspective. I know there will be times that will be kind of like realizations that my children will have as they realize mom's not perfect, and I want my children to understand that mom's not perfect. I'm going to do things wrong. That's not necessarily what I mean. I guess I just mean in more deep and wounding ways that I let my children down. Like, if somehow they look back on life and they're like, yeah, mom wasn't there in that situation. Like, I was going through something really serious and she kind of let me down. I don't see that happening. I just, it's not like I'm that kind of person or anything. It's just, I just fear that somehow my kids look back on their childhood and in some way I let them down. I also fear, my children not having insight and suffering because of it. I can't give insight. I know as an adult, as a parent, all I can do is share my experiences, be honest about life, share everything that I know. Why didn't my parents teach me that? Why didn't they teach me that? No parent is all-knowing. I know the pain and suffering that comes with being short-sighted and narrow-minded and how restricting and burdening that is. And I just so hope that my children hear me repetitively, hear the things I say, maybe think in mommy's words in their mind as they're going through things until they have insight. I just know it saves a lot of pain when you can see the bigger picture about everything and be in touch with yourself. That also affects your relationships. When you're really short-sighted and narrow-minded, it's my personal opinion that it's just very hard to have a smooth relationship. It just makes things harder. I don't want my children, obviously, to go through pain or suffering. No parent wants your kids to. I know it's going to happen. Life is hard. Things happen. But as long as my kids have insight, I will feel so much better knowing that they're being great life processors, and having insight helps you tackle those big problems. So a lot of my fears have to do with my kids, I realize. Because my next fear is that my children will grow and be so independent and so insightful and so self-sufficient, because those are some of our family core values. I hope my kids don't just see me out of obligation. Oh, yeah, I guess I should call my mom. I want my kids to want to talk to me. I want them to want to be in touch with their mom. My kids will be busy, they'll have their own lives. For most of my life as a grown woman, my children will be adults living their own adult lives, and I know that. I just hope they want to talk to mom on the phone, and they want to check in, and they want to come by, and it's not just for holidays or because it's like the expectation. I hope that we can build a strong enough family bond that everyone just truly just loves just soaking up that love of life and being around people that we love, because it's just so important than any task or any goal that you can achieve. My next fear is forgetting everything. I'm already a forgetful person. That is why I am recording these videos. Pictures, pictures, pictures. Because I forget the things I don't take pictures of. And I just worry I'll forget it all. I love this life and I don't want to forget it. Again, like I said, not that I am living my life in fear or living fearfully, but that is very on my mind that that's a possibility. So I do everything I can to help remember. My last fear is that I am the last one standing. Obviously, it's anyone's fear in life to lose those that they love, to be left alone in that sense. I don't fear death, and I don't fear death for those I love, but I just love them. And it just sucks when people die, obviously. No one likes that. Even if you're ready for it and you know it's coming, I don't want to bury all of my siblings. Obviously don't want to bury my kids. That should be, like, not allowed. I think we all feel more comfortable with the thought of living a long, full, fulfilling life. It's very hard to accept death of young ones. I know there's a good chance I'll bury my husband. He's older than I am. And statistically, the guy goes first. Don't know why. It's very weird if you look around at the people in your life and think of all of the people older than you. All of my grandparents, obviously, my parents, all my aunts and uncles. Thinking of going through all of their funerals is just crazy. And I mean, hopefully it goes in that order where everyone does get to live that long, full life. It doesn't always go that way. It hasn't gone that way from my life experiences so far. There's definitely been people that have gone young. I know that this life isn't forever. I just hope that I don't have to bury my entire family. Those are my top fears. Mainly just letting my children down or crippling them in some way that affects them for the rest of their life. Forgetting this great life and having to be the last one to say goodbye to everybody that I love would really stink. Like I said, I'm not fearful. I'm not living in fear. These are just the top things that I would hate to happen. Thank you for listening.